everyone, it's another Homestead Tessie's video, and today I am jammed full in my pantry of some bought food.
Today, Daddy planted shoe-pegged corn and Anna Mae was at Hope's again. And I would like to tell everyone today is a very special day. Today is hubby
From the diary
and
of
I's
my grandma
31
Fanny.
year anniversary. So today is a great day.
Hi everyone, today's video is on preparedness. And am I a prepper or am I a homesteader? Well, most of you know the answer to that, and I am a homesteader. There has been so many theories out there, the difference between a homesteader and a prepper. And everyone has different scenarios, everyone has different analogies of it, and I'm just going to share with you what it is to me and the difference between the two. So, I am a homesteader. That means I like raising my own food, I like raising my own medical supplies with herbs, and with things like that. A prepper generally will go out and they will buy items that they need and they will store those items. Now, 90% of the things that I do is in the homesteading field, and that means I produce my own food, I have my own seeds, I learn how to live self-sufficient. But there are some areas in my life that I am a prepper. Now, you won't find me stocking up on Band-Aids, stocking up on aspirins, stocking up on medications. You will find me learning how to make things out of herbs. Like feverfew is an herbal remedy for fevers, headaches, and it's a herbal remedy for aspirin. Find me with St. John's wort. That is a herbal remedy to depression and anxiety and issues like that. Band-Aids, you will find me with lots of lamb's ear. Lamb's ear is an herb which you use the leaves and they are a very efficient Band-Aid, which also is very antibacterial. So you're not going to see me stocking up on supplies like that. You're going to see me learning skills that the colonial people did, the pioneers. You're going to see me learning those kind of skills. But I do love the prepping aspect of life, and I'm going to share with you some books that I really enjoy. So the first one is, most of these books came from the Latter-day Saints. Now, I do not share their theology at all, but as far as prepping and food storage, they are the #1 experts. And I love the Essential Food Storage Cookbook. Another one is I Can't Believe It's Food Storage, another book. The Food Storage Guide Cookbook. This is from the 70s. This is one of my favorites. Managing Your Personal Food Supply, another old book. The Ultimate Food Storage Cookbook. Lots and lots of food storage books. But I'm going to share with you two of my favorite. And these are for everything in the whole wide spectrum of preparing. It's called Making the Best of Basics. This is my go-to guide. This explains everything as far as with prepping. It is by James Stevens, Making the Best of Basics. To that, they came with a new version, Making the Best of Basics Family Preparedness Handbook. This by far is the best one that I've seen and the best one that I like to use. And as you know, I just received this. I got at the Thrifty Thursday and I paid $1 for it. And this is a great workbook, which we're going to be working on this as well. Two books I'm using this week are All Things Provident, which is another Mormon Latter-day Saints book, but it's really chock full with how to make your own mixes and things like that for your pantry. And Simply Prepared. And this is a guide to emergency preparedness. another really great one. So all of these are great, and I use all of them. So what are we going to do today? Today I'm going to share with you food that I bought in bulk. That is heavy. Once a year I buy from a company called If It's Bulk, and I will share the link of their website. If It's Bulk, for me it's fairly reasonable priced because they're on the East Coast. If you have a Costco, if you have a Sam's Club, by all means go there because it's the cheapest, but I don't have a membership there. So this is a project that I should have done weeks ago, but it seems like life happens and I get really busy, especially this time of the year. I think a lot of people don't understand. When I talk about gardening, I talk about it in a survival mode. I don't talk about it in a hobby garden. So when I say I got to get gardening or I got to be working out in the garden, to me, I use that as a survival mode. I know that I got to get the food in. If I don't get the food in, I'm not going to eat. That's my whole perspective on it. My whole perspective is I want to see what it's like to live in the pioneer days when you had to plant your garden and that is what you ate off of. So I'm going to pan the camera down and I'm going to show you 3 things that I buy in bulk as a prepper because it's much cheaper and it's also something I cannot really grow here on the homestead. The number 1 thing is dried beans. Dried beans you can grow in the homestead, but it takes a lot of ground to plant dried beans and I really need that for other things. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. What the dried beans are. These are red beans and it is, I think, a 40-pound box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Mylar bags just like this and we're going to fill them up with beans. To me, this is the best way for me to store my beans. Now, I will can these beans within 2 years. So 2016 beans, I pretty much have canned up. And I always, always, always want to rotate your food. All right, so there's one that's done. And I'll show you what we do next. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill up all of these beans in the Mylar bags and then I'll show you what I do next. Have our bags full. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take 1 oxygen absorber. And you want to have the cc's enough that is for your different kind of packages. So if you have a quart Mylar bags, you don't need such a big one. But these are 4 gallons. We're going to lay it flat. Make sure you don't have any beans that are going to be in the way. You're going to take either a hair straightener or an iron, which I like an iron the best, and we are going to seal it. Now, if this is done properly, you will not have any bugs ever hatch because it takes oxygen to make bugs hatch. You will not have any problems with spoiling of your dried goods if you do this in the right manner. This, my friends, is totally sealed. And in about 24 hours, you're going to see the bags totally shrivel up because all the oxygen is taken out of them. Very important, another thing is to make sure you label your bags. So I made labels. Here you go. Now this is done. So I'm going to show you one more time. You're going to take 1 oxygen absorber and you're going to put it in your bag. And then we're going to go ahead and seal it. My climate is not humid. So my climate is more of a drier, not as humid. So maybe in another state you may have more problems, but I'm telling you, if you seal your things properly and there's no air in it, your food will last you 20, 25 years. It will, if it's done correctly. Your food will last you as long as you need it, that's for sure. So there you go, my friends. Now we're going to go on to the next thing that we're going to put in our bags. Another staple food that you should always have on hand and in bulk. And this is oatmeal. Now, you want to always make sure you get the old-fashioned oats. The old-fashioned oats are not processed as much. Beautiful oatmeal. And if times were to get bad, you could use this just dry as is. You could eat it that way. So you don't have to cook it, but of course, our desire is to cook it. So we're going to go ahead and do the same procedure. We're going to fill up our Mylar bags with the oatmeal. And then I'm going to put these bags in 5-gallon buckets with lids, and they will be marked again and dated. Make sure you always date your items. It smells so good, and coming from this company, it is extremely fresh. Put one of our oxygen absorbers in, lay it flat, and seal it up. Put a label on it. And date it. And there you go, everyone, is another sealed food. And now we're going to work on the last. So we have beans, we have oatmeal, and we have rice. So here is our rice, and it's in a sealed bag. So what I'm going to use is I'm using 1/2-gallon Mylar bags for the rice. A little bit different I do to the rice. We're going to use the same procedure as we do for all of the other dried. We're going to fill up our bags with in the Mylar. We're going to fill them up with the rice. Okay. We are going to put our oxygen absorber in it, same as we do everything else. But for the rice, we're going to do one other little trick. And for the rice, we are going to add 2 bay leaves. Three. We're going to use 3 dried bay leaves. We're going to put that in with the rice too. And it's white rice. I don't ever store brown rice because brown rice doesn't seem to last as long. Once again, you want to use your oxygen absorber. That is a key because that sucks out all of the air. No air, no bugs. So many times what people do is they want to take shortcuts. They want to do things the fast way. And then they wonder why their food doesn't last very good. Because you cannot take shortcuts in some things. You have to get the oxygen absorber. You just have to get that because that helps take the oxygen out. You have to seal it good. A lot of times people will throw food in a 5-gallon bucket. They'll just throw it in the bucket. And they think, oh no, there's bugs in it. Well, of course there's bugs in it because there's air in it. But if you use the Mylar bags and you use the oxygen absorbers and you put them in a nice bucket after you're done or put them in a dry, cool area, you are going to have a successful food storage. It's just plain and simple. So here we go, is the rice. So I'm going to finish everything up and then I'll show you what it all looks like on the table. And I paid $80 for all of this. And this will be more than a year's worth of food. Well, my friends, I'm all done. It took me about 1 hour and 20 minutes of work. Everything is sealed perfectly. Oatmeal sealed with Mylar bags and the oxygen absorbers. It's labeled. This, my friends, cost me $80. Now, how many times can you go out to eat with your family that would make up $80? And here, we can eat literally for months on end. If needed be, you could live on beans and rice. So as you see in my pantry, and this is one of my food storage areas, you can see that it really is a very frugal thing to do, is by having your own pantry and having your own preparedness and having your own food on hand. It's not always for the end of the world. It could be for a job loss, for sickness, somebody who cannot work, your breadwinner can't work, you can't work, a tragedy where you have extra bills that you don't know how you're going to pay for food. There are so many reasons why you should prepare. And I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'm going to pan my camera down and show you this table full of dried foods that you can use to go along with your pantry for prepping. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. A big table full of beans, rice, and oatmeal. These are things I cannot produce on the homestead, and as of now, you can still get them relatively frugal priced. But you know what? You never know what next year holds. So if you ever get in the market for some frugal oatmeal and rice and beans, snatch them up, put them in these bags, and you'll be set for a long time.